Welcome to Beyond the Campfire, the Dead by Daylight podcast, where we dive into the stories, secrets, and strategies behind the horrors and heroes within the fog. I'm Dogbomb, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Lemon. Hello, Lemon.
Hi, Dogbomb. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
I have heard a crazy rumor about you.
About me?
Yeah,
What's your rumor? What you heard? What you've been
the
listening to?
crazy rumor I have heard about you this week is you have 0 unread emails in your email inbox. Is that true?
Yeah, I've been working my socks. Well, is that true right now? No. I have 46 emails in my inbox right now, but they will be all gone by the end of this episode.
Really?
Depends how exciting your part is, if I'm being honest.
Wow. I feel like you will have 60-something emails when you're done.
Probably.
So, okay. But I'm glad the rumor is not true because it did get me a bit worried with my 12,000 unread emails.
I did have 28,000. I've done a good job this week. I've been working my socks off this week, so
Yeah,
I'm pleased with myself. And yeah,
you should be.
co-working's been working for me.
Perfect.
How about Dead by Daylight? Have you played any Dead by Daylight this week?
Oh, I feel like I haven't played as much as the last few weeks. Or is that just me?
I feel I've played a fair bit off stream. I haven't played as much on stream this week, but I have definitely played a fair bit off stream. But I have tried 2 new builds this week, which is always quite exciting. Because I on my offline games, I sit with a comfort build and I just play with the same stuff. And this week I've tried 2 new things. The first one was because of the new 11 and Dustin perks, which assist on gens. And it makes the gens go super quick as long as you're on gens with other people. And that's the hard part.
That was a build you got inspired from a person you played with during your stream, right?
Yeah. But it was good. It was good. It worked, but it needs a bit of coordination.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I've been running was a flashlight build, so pure flashlights, champion of light build, and I've been practicing my flashlights, which made me realize 2 things. A lot of killers run Lightborn. There was more killers running Lightborn than I expected. Despite we only ever play with 1 flashlight in the lobby when there's 4 of us playing this with, and that's me.
Yeah.
Nobody else runs flashlights.
I'm not allowed to.
And the other thing I've noticed is it gets you tunneled out quite a bit if you manage to get a flashlight safe.
Yeah.
So that's been
Well,
a thing.
on the subject of being tunneled out, I feel like I am the most experienced here for being tunneled out early in the game.
Yeah, in here with us too, yes. You
Yeah,
often go for sabs and get tunneled out.
exactly. I live
I
the
don't think,
rough life.
I don't think you get tunneled out quite as much as our friend Ginge. I think they get tunneled out a wee bit more, but that might be their own fault for running back into the killer's arms every time.
Yeah. I just need to say, Ginge, I love you, but they have a tendency to run towards the killer.
Yep. Yeah, they have a worse, and this is something I thought I'd never say. They have a worse sense of direction than you.
Me? Have you seen me with a map?
I've seen you on Dead by Daylight, and I've seen you that you need cardinal directions. You're the only person I know who needs north, south, east, west directions on Dead by Daylight.
Being left-right blind is actually a thing. Google it.
I've tried giving Ginge northwest, east, south directions, and Ginge doesn't understand that. They don't understand right and left. They don't understand follow me.
That's true.
I don't know how to help them. I don't know how to help them. But we did have one particularly stinky game this week. It stuck in my mind, and it was against a clown. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember a clown.
We had a really bad clown who tunneled out Ginge, then tried to tunnel me out, was
Yeah.
throwing bottles at us when we're on a hook, hit us with the GGEZ at the end game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do remember because I asked if they
Uh,
needed a hug, and then they
yeah,
left.
they were saying things about my family, and they were trying to get a
Yeah.
rise, and they're getting their mention, I guess, on the podcast if that's what they were
Yeah.
after.
Well done, killer.
GG's.
Well done, clown.
It's always funny to me when a killer gets so tilted that they're hitting you on a hook and throwing bottles at you and things.
Yeah. I'm so excited for next week.
Yeah, next week brings back
2 versus 8.
2 versus 8, and we have a new killer, I think, Chucky,
Chucky.
and I think a new class next week.
Yes.
So that's what they showed in the PTV. I'm hoping that's carried across to the main game, because the merrier. The more sort of options and things, the better.
I know I have
The
said this loads, but I'm so excited for a game with Chucky and Oni as the killers
Mm.
together.
I saw a game with Oni and Nemesis,
Mm?
which is quite fun. Big guy, little guy, kind of fun. But
Nemesis
yeah,
is huge.
the Torchbearer class is the new class, which allows you
Oh,
to bring
yeah.
in a flashlight, gives you a flashlight,
Mm.
which I think is going to make some really fun interactions.
I'm also excited for the extra person that can heal.
Yeah,
So now 3 people can heal, and nobody is standing there feeling like the 4th wheel.
yeah, that will change
So
things
awkward.
quite a lot. I think allowing flashlights in is going to let some people feel more confident to try
Mm.
flashlight. So that's going to be interesting as well. We've also had this week the Grimoire reveal. Have you seen
Mm.
this?
No.
Yeah, so they've picked I think they've picked everything now for the Grimoire. They just haven't revealed how it all
Okay.
kind of fits together. But they have shown the survivor. So they had the survivor pictures. And the survivor that was picked was the older lady.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so the older lady was picked. The profile picture was shown and stuff.
Love that.
It's led to Twitter going into meltdown, as these things do.
But I'm excited for a gray-haired survivor person that I can identify with.
Mm.
Yeah, I need to color my hair.
But the big news from this week was that we released an extra episode on Friday.
We did. I had so much fun with that one.
Yeah, and it's been getting good feedback, and yeah,
Mm.
all very cool. Um, yeah, and it was all about Steve and Steve Scream. And then the same day of release, like literally within hours, by the way,
Yeah.
of us releasing that, they announced that they are tweaking the game,
Mm.
bringing back the Scream
Ish.
to be ish. But I like to feel like we did a small part in that, or a major part. I like to think that they saw the podcast, they thought Dog Mom and Lemon have talked about the Scream. We can
Yeah.
feel the power of the community.
Yeah.
We need to bring it back.
Let's change this before it becomes a shitstorm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we raised those voices high and we brought back Steve
True,
Scream.
true,
You're
true.
welcome, everyone. You're welcome, by the way.
Mm. We're not I know I say we're not completely happy about it. We wanted it back in the original form. Now it's just like an Easter egg-ish thing. I do want the original screen back. I'm not done with this yet.
However, enough about Steve, because this week we stand, we stare, we slaughter as we talk about The Shape.
So, this week we are talking about The Shape. So, on the 25th of October, so right before Halloween in 2016, we got the Halloween chapter in Dead by Daylight. In this chapter, we got The Shape, Michael Myers, and Laurie Strode, and the map Haddonfield. Michael and Laurie are the first licensed killer survivor in the game. But, since the 19th of January this year, 2026, so a few weeks ago, the Halloween chapter left the game. So those who have bought Michael and Laurie will still be able to play them, but you can no longer buy them, and the map Haddonfield is no longer in the game. Normally, when I need to talk about a killer or a survivor, I would look at the in-game bio, the tomes. I will go through the memories. Is there any notes? Is there any letters, like we had for Jake, where his father wrote a letter in another tome? But since they are licensed, we don't have this week. Michael's lore is the Halloween film universe. So, what do we know about the Michael we first meet in 1978? Before at least any of us here was born. So, we know his name, Michael Audrey Myers, and that he is from Haddonfield in Illinois. And yes, I did look this up on Google Maps. There is no Haddonfield in Illinois, but there is one in New Jersey. So, his first crime, that is also his first murder, was when he was 6 years old and he killed his sister. After the murder, he went to the Smiths Grove Sanitarium, where he were until he escaped 15 years later. When he escapes, his primary target becomes Laurie Strode. So Michael that we see in the movie is, we don't get any backstory for him, so he is driven by pure evil. There is no explanation, there's no feelings, there is nothing but evil. So when Michael kills his sister, he's wearing a clown mask, and after his escape from the sanitarium, he steals a mask at a hardware store. The mask is hiding any form of feelings that we can imagine Michael having or not having. And as a viewer, it can be more scary to imagine what is going on behind the mask than actually seeing his face. So, how did Michael get into Dead by Daylight? Like, how did he get into the game? For all that we know, Michael was taken by the entity during a killing spree and just trapped in the fog. The game never pinned down an exact timeline for when Michael got into the game from the world. But he has made other movies in between, so I guess they let him off once in a while, and then he just loves to come back and kill. In Dead by Daylight, by behavior, he gets no new childhood, no explained motive for what he is doing. There is no secret diary pages. We don't get anything new to his story. And I think behavior kept him intentionally, kept it minimal to preserve the mystique about Michael. to keep the whole mystery, but like what is behind this mask. So I feel like the lack of backstory and only the knowledge from Halloween 1978 is what makes him so scary and unpredictable. Any comments, Dagban?
First of all, I'm surprised that his middle name is Audrey.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
And I didn't. There's a lot I don't know. I didn't know that Haddonfield. There is a Haddonfield, but not in the place where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I have only watched the movie twice. I don't remember the first time, which was on your Discord.
Yeah.
But I watched it today, so it's all fresh. But I also feel like if Michael had a full backstory, he would become more human. Instead of being that empty shape of a human as we know him. But then there is also just the fact that he's a licensed killer and that Dead by Daylight probably did not have the rights to make their own adjustments to the story for Michael, or Laurie for that matter. So yeah, what is making Michael so scary? It's things like fear of the familiar turning hostile, having a brother that turns on you, that the safety of your neighborhood is collapsing. There is violence without reason. There is the terror and the feeling of being watched and studied. And I think we have all tried that. Sitting somewhere, standing in an airport or something, and just feeling like there's somebody watching me. Have you ever tried that, Dogban?
Yeah, I have tried being both the watched and the watchee. I often stand in places and just watch people.
You're creepy. And then also the fact that Michael kills with a kitchen knife, similar to something we probably all have at home. It's so simple, it's scary. Michael in Dead by Daylight is voiced by a man called Frederick Poirier. I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly, but he worked as a sound designer on the game at the time. And Michael is sharing voice actor with Felix. Did you know that, Felix Richter?
I only knew it from my research into.
Okay, I have one more fun fact. I don't think you know. Are you ready to be amazed?
I'm ready to be amazed. Amaze me.
So, in the movie, Michael goes into a hardware store and steals a mask. We know that. But the mask Michael is using was original, a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek. So the dress department, or what it is called on a movie, got a Captain Kirk mask. Then they removed the eyebrows from the mask and the sideburns. They sprayed the hair with some hair color to make it darker. And then they had some white spray paint for the face. And they cut his eyes a bit bigger. And that is the mask. So it's, what is he called? Captain Kirk. William Shatner.
Yeah, Will Shatner.
Yeah. So that is his face used as the shape. And he didn't know that until after the movie was released. And he saw the mask and it reminded him of a clay thing they have made of his head so they could make scars or something they needed to do for the movies or the TV shows without him having to sit there. So it wasn't until he saw that and he was like, oh my God, that looks like the thing in my trailer. that he realized it was his face used in the movies. Did you know that?
Unfortunately, I did know
Oh,
that. That is one of the things I know about the movie.
so all I could give you was his middle name?
And the voice actor, I only learned that today. That's a new fact. But I did know the mask fact. That's pretty well known.
Okay, so that's what I have about Michael for this week. So people have a chance to watch the movies if they want, because next week I'm going to talk about the relationship between Michael and Rory.
Mm.
And I know the movie is from 1978, but I feel bad about giving spoilers without giving people a chance to actually sit down and watch it.
Well, could I give some spoilers? I think I've got some spoilers I'd like to give. If people are going to watch the movie, or at least things to watch out for, if they are going to watch the movie. If you are a Dead by Daylight fan and you've not watched the movie, I would say do. I would say go back and watch the kind of these licensed killers are really interesting in that they have another world that they exist in. Michael being the first of these, and I would suggest that you go back and kind of look at where they come from so that you can understand them in the game, because there isn't a lot of lore in game about these killers. They just kind of exist. So yeah, what I would say is when you watch the movie, the things I would look for. There's obviously the music. It's iconic. It's iconic in Dead by Daylight
It
now, but it's
is,
iconic
yes.
from the movie. So there's that. The other thing I would say to watch for is his clothes in the movie and how
Mm,
close or not close they are across the game, because there are some differences.
mm,
There is also he has another outfit in Dead by Daylight. It's the escaped patient outfit, which again, watch for that in the movie and see the
mm,
reference there. And the other thing that's kind of interesting between the movie and the game is he kills Bob in the movie, Bob Sims or Robert Sims, and that is kind of what his Mori is based on. So
it's
there's the
very
whole
similar.
sequence, very similar. So I would watch
Yeah.
that sequence as well and just see how close they got
Mm,
with that. But yeah, watch the movie. Watch the movie, and if you've played Dead by Daylight pre patch 9.2, I think you'll recognize the Michael in the movie. If you've played only more recently, you might not recognize the Michael in the movie. And I will touch on that change when we talk about his perks and things.
well, go ahead, Dog Bum.
So, yeah, as I touched on very briefly, Michael Myers changed a lot on the 23rd of September 2025. Previous to that, he was incredibly different. But I am going to talk about the most recent version of Michael, so that people don't get confused. But we will touch on the older Michael in parts. His entire power is based around progression and escalation of threat. He stalks survivors and builds up his power evil within and moves through 3 tiers as he does so. He's all about patience. He's all about not rushing, just charging up, adding to that threat, and then unleashing it at just the right time. Um, and he embodies inevitability. You are going to die. It's just you're going to die by Michael's whims and desires when he thinks it's time. A few interesting things about Michael Myers in the game. He is the first licensed killer. There's a lot of firsts with Michael. First licensed killer. He's the first killer to feature a unique terror radius, and he was for a long time. He was the first killer to have any kind of power gauge, something separate in the game. These are all, lots of killers have these things now, and but Michael was the first killer who had a unique way to kill survivors outside of the standard hooking and Mori at the end. The first killer to have 2 Mori animations. He still is the only killer who has the ability to switch between 3 different turret radius during a trial. And he is the only killer with the ability, with his base kit, to affect his stun recovery and lunge attack distance. So what does he look like in game? He has an ability called Evil Within. The shape can switch between 3 modes of Evil Within, all with their unique abilities and strengths. The first mode is called Stalker mode. This is the default mode. It's what you start in at the start of a trial. You move a lot slower. You have a slower vault. You are undetectable at the start of the trial, which means that nobody can hear your terror radius and see you coming. And you have access to an ability called Stalk. If you are not full of Stalk, if your Stalk meter is not full, you can press a secondary power button to switch to Pursuer mode. Pursuer mode is the next mode. When you are in Pursuer mode, you have a small terror radius of 16 meters. You have a slightly shorter vaulting time. You are slightly quicker. And you break and damage things quicker. You recover from stuns quicker. And you have a longer lunge attack. If your Stalk meter is still not fun, you can switch back into Stalker mode. So you can switch between Pursuer and Stalker as much as you like. But if it is full, you then switch into Evil Incarnate mode. Evil Incarnate is the third mode. When you are in Evil Incarnate and you activate it, it is active for 60 seconds, 1 whole minute. You have a bigger terror radius of 32 meters, but now you have access to a new ability called Slaughtering Strike. You also have access to the ability to kill selected survivors. Slaughtering Strike is the controversial change that came in 9.2. So this is a good time to talk about what we could do with Michael before and how that's changed. The old Michael in tier 3, so he would tier up from tier 1, no terror radius, tier 2, some terror radius, tier 3 was his Evil Incarnate mode. At tier 3, with the right combination of add-ons and things, he could kill people outright. He could grab you and maul you, even if you didn't have a hook state. That's kind of all changed. That's the big change. He didn't have any kind of Slaughtering Strike, which we're about to talk about, but he just went around and everybody was exposed in tier 3, one hit and you're down, and he could kill you with the right combination of add-ons. Tombstone Myers, some people call it. Now, and this is back to current day, he has something called Slaughtering Strike. When he's in Evil Incarnate mode, you press the power button to charge up your Slaughtering Strike, press the attack button, and you suddenly move at 7.5 meters per second, which is like being on roller skates. A successful hit is lethal. It does do double damage, and it does allow you to break walls and smash through pallets. It lasts for 1.5 seconds, depending on how long it was charged for, and has a cooldown as well of 4 seconds. This is when he's in Stalker mode. You can stalk. It reduces your walking speed to be even slower. It highlights survivors that are close by or within range. And it drains evil from the closest survivor. So only one survivor. Even if you can see 2-3 survivors, it will only drain from one survivor. And if you move while you are staring, while you are stalking, the stalking is slower. It's minus 25% slower, which I didn't realize, actually. So that is something I've learned while researching this. If your power gauge is not full, it will start depleting after 20 seconds of not stalking, down to 50%. So you are encouraged to continue to stalk. The last thing to mention is that insta-kill, when you are in Evil Incarnate and somebody has 2 hook states, you can attack while you're close to them, or when they're downed, and you can perform the Mori and kill them outright at that point. So, in summation, because I think there's a lot going on with Michael Myers. In summation, you have 3 modes. You have Stalker mode, Pursuer mode, which you can switch between, and when your bar's full of Stalk, you can switch to Evil Incarnate mode. While you're in Evil Incarnate mode, you can use Slaughtering Strike to insta-down people. When people are on 2 hook states, you can insta-kill people, in short. Deep breath. That is the new Michael Myers. So to go back to the original Michael, some people loved him, some people hated him. He was seen as one of the weaker killers, which I guess is one of the reasons why he has been changed. He's now quite strong. I see a lot more of Michael now. But I don't think he's as interesting. But we'll talk about that, I guess, at the end of it all, when we talk about Michael and our thoughts on Michael. In terms of his add-ons, these days, he has some interesting ones still. He still has some interesting things you can do with him. Scratched Mirror is an iridescent add-on these days, and it will reveal all auras while you're stalking anyone within 32 meters. You cannot exit Stalker mode. You are fixed into Stalker mode, so you're going to be the slow Michael for the entire game, but you can see through walls. You basically have wall hacks. Judith's Tombstone is his other eerie add-on. When you hook a survivor in Evil Incarnate mode, the duration of Evil Incarnate will refresh, but it is capped at 40 seconds. So if you manage to have a lot of survivors together and you think you can hook them all in quick succession, you can stay in Evil Incarnate mode for a longer time. Looking a bit further down at the purple add-ons, we have Vanity Mirror. When Evil Incarnate ends, all auras are revealed for 4 seconds. So that is quite nice to get you back in the game if you are trying to stay and juggle Evil Incarnate mode. And there is the Tombstone piece. The Tombstone piece gives you, when you've activated Evil Incarnate, it gives you undetectable for 20 seconds. So while that is the bigger terror radius, usually it can remove your terror radius for 20 seconds for surprise attacks. The other one I would like to mention, I guess, is a green add-on called Dead Rabbit. Dead Rabbit's really interesting. It changes your terror radius quite a lot. When you're in Pursuer mode, your terror radius is reduced by 25%, so you can be quite sneaky. But when you're in Evil Incarnate mode, it increases it by 25%, which there are a lot of perks which use terror radius to affect the survivors. So that can be quite interesting with some builds, the Dead Rabbit, I think. A lot of the other add-ons just change numbers, speeds of kicking things and moving and stalking and all of that. So worth looking at, but they are the interesting ones that I use or I have played with in the past. Michael's perks. Now, because Michael's been taken out of the game, these are now general perks. They were unique perks when they were with Michael. If you have Michael Myers, if you bought him before he was removed from the game, the perks have their old names. If you don't have Michael Myers, they have new names. So I will give you both names. I will give you them in alphabetical order based on Michael's names, because that's the ones that I know. But I will tell you the new name as well. Perk number 1 is called Dying Light, or it's now called Cull the Weak. Every time you hook a survivor other than the obsession, you gain a token. For as long as the obsession is alive, all other survivors suffer from a stackable 3% per token penalty to repairing, healing, and sabotaging, up to a maximum of 11 tokens or 33%, which is huge. The obsession, however, is unaffected and will be given a permanent 33% speed bonus to unhooking and healing. And you can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. It's interesting. While it is possible to get the whole 11 tokens, it's a bit kind of impractical. You can run things that change the obsession, so you can move around the obsessions to get more and more tokens. But it would, if you get up to 11, the obsession is the only person alive at this point, and then they're unaffected by the penalty. Dying Light is interesting in the sense of it slows everybody down except the obsession. It's quite obvious when somebody's running it. A little icon does pop up and say that Dying Light is in action. It can be strong in the longer game if you plan to play a long game and sort of work with it. It encourages you to manage who you go for in terms of obsession and things like that. But it can be risky. If they realize that the obsession is stronger, they will play around that and kind of get the obsession to do a lot of the healing and things like that. His second perk is called Play with Your Food, or if you don't have Michael, See How They Run. It's obsession based again. Losing your obsession in a chase causes you to gain 1 token, up to a maximum of 3 tokens this time. If you do any sort of basic or special attack with the potential to damage a survivor, you lose a token. But when you have at least 1 token, you have a 5% stackable haste, which is a maximum of 15% haste. It has a cooldown of 10 seconds between gaining tokens, and you can only be obsessed with 1 survivor at a time. This one is interesting. Again, very similar to the last one. If they know that you are playing around this, they will play against it, because again, you are only playing off your obsession. It works well with any killer who can kind of disengage quickly, and it synergizes with kind of stealth and stalk. But it does have a bit of a skill ceiling on this perk. It's given a token as soon as the chase is triggered, and then you end the chase. So you kind of have to watch for that as well if you're using it. You can search for it. Play with Your Food is interesting. I think this is our first perk that does this. There's a search bar in the game, and Play with Your Food, I think, is our first one that we've mentioned, where you can search for it by its initials. So people know it as PWYF, and if you search for that, you will find this particular perk, just even if it's changed its name as well, by the way. So even if you don't have Michael, you can still search for it by its old name. Most special attacks will cause you to lose a token. However, there are a whole bunch of specific examples um, that do and don't. His third perk is Save the Best for Last, and I have saved the best for last. Or it's called Keep Them Waiting, and I have kept you waiting for this third perk. Meta. This is if you damage any survivor other than the obsession, there's that obsession again. With a basic attack, you gain a token up to a maximum of 8 tokens. If you damage the obsession with a basic or special attacks, you lose 2 tokens. You get a stackable 4% per token cooldown on any basic attacks, up to 32%, which is quite huge. It freezes the token count when you sacrifice or kill the obsession. This is one of the strongest chase perks in the game. It really works well with any M1 killer. And it encourages to be really smart about who you're hitting and when. Again, this can lead to a very smart team who realize that you're playing with Save the Best for Last. It can cause them to use the obsession to run in and take hits to try and bring down your tokens. They are updated instantly when you hit a survivor. The obsession escaping the trial does not cause it to freeze the token count, so you can still gain additional tokens on remaining survivors. So if you have a way of switching obsession, you can still gain some more tokens and get that faster basic attack. This is the only one of the 3 perks which changed its icon when Michael was taken from the game. The other 2 perk icons remained the same, and the reason the icon changed is because it had a little picture of Laurie on the picture. So they have changed the icon now to a different generic lady who is definitely not Laurie. Some builds you may want to try with Michael. If you want to learn how to play Michael, maybe you want to try some Save the Best for Last, some Corrupt Intervention to bring them a little bit closer to you at the start, some Jolt, some Deadlock, and add some Stalk rate boosters in there. Have some consistent pressure and some consistent Evil Incarnate in the game. Or maybe you want to do a little bit of jump scare Michael. Take in that scratched mirror, use Monitor and Abuse, Lethal Pursuer, Save the Best for Last. And use those, use that wall hack, do some jump scares, some sudden downs, some panic. That's, I think, my favorite Michael. My favorite Michael's scary jump scare Michael. Or you could do a whole end game with Michael. Save the Best for Last, No Way Out, Remember Me, Deadlock. Extend his Evil Incarnate duration and cause a bit of end game panic and fear. Michael is now, modern Michael is relatively beginner friendly, I think, a lot more beginner friendly than he was. He's a lot less kind of specialized because of his add-ons and things changing. He can be a bit inconsistent as well. His power curve changes from game to game. What are your thoughts on Michael Myers Lemon? Have you played as him? I don't know why I ask this. You've played No Killer, have you? Have you played against him though?
I have not played as Michael, but before he left the game, I made sure to buy him.
Just in
Yeah.
case.
just in case. You know, I like to have the full collection.
Mhm.
Um, do I like playing against Michael? Yes, because I feel like Michael is one of the killers that gives some good jump scares in game, especially if it's played by the right player. He's definitely one of my favorite jump scares killers, but yeah,
Did you
I
prefer old Michael or do you like new Michael?
honestly, as a survivor, I haven't really noticed the difference.
Okay. Okay.
I know that you talked a lot about it when it happened,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, it's not that
Interesting.
big a difference for me as a survivor, not knowing all the perks and things.
Yeah, I see. I find him very different these days. Incredibly different. He's a lot harder to play against these days, I guess, which it puts him more in line with the other killers. Um, if you were playing against a Scratch Myers in the old version, you knew that he could never go past a certain speed, which you kind of can now, actually, if it's a scratch mirror. You can never go over a certain speed, so you can kind of outrun him and loop him for a lot
Yeah.
longer. Um, and then when he used to get to tier 3, there were things you could do to kind of mitigate it. So if you could stay on a
Mm,
gen and force him to pull you off a gen, you could go into a locker and force him to take you out of a locker. Um, you could kind of stay on loops, drop pallets to kind of extend it to get him out of power. Whereas now he can zoom around loops and smash pallets. I don't know. It just doesn't feel to me. It doesn't feel like Michael Myers anymore. Previously, he would just stand and stalk, and
that's true.
you would turn around and you still get this moment at the start of the Michael Myers game, I guess, where you are on a gen and either you turn around, you just see him stood like looking at you through a window, and that shits you up, or
You hear
you
him
hear
breathe.
the sound, you hear the
Yeah.
music start, and you're like, "Oh, for
Oh,
fuck's sake!"
just hear him breathe.
Yeah, or hear him breathe. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, but I remember playing like Scratch. I used to love playing Scratch Mirror Myers, where I would just be able to see them through the wall, and there was games of that what I played, which was so intense, and I knew they could hear me breathe, and so they would tell me in post game, like, "We could hear you breathing," which is, quite scary, really.
that's creepy.
It's really creepy. It's good creepy, though. It's good creepy. He is still consistently one of the, killers that I actually get a little bit jump scared by and freaked out
Yeah,
by. He is also one of the killers that I consistently go against that is a little bit wacky. And has a little bit of, whimsy about them. You can get some quite whimsical Michael Myers.
yeah. But like the last 2 weeks before he left the game,
Mm,
I feel like we played against a lot of Michaels. But now he's kind of like faded out.
I think people, got the wrong end of the stick, and I think the same happened when Demogorgon left
Yeah.
and Pinhead went, um, in that people feel that they're gonna lose them. They're
Mm,
gonna disappear from the game and you don't get to play it, but thankfully you don't. You still get to play the things that you paid for. Which is just right. But I think people get the wrong end of the stick when the announcement goes out and they feel they need to play
mm.
it a lot to get their money's worth and things.
But I bet some of them also wanted to play Michael a last time on the map because the map is gone.
The map's gone, yes. That
Yeah.
is it wasn't my favorite map. I've been quite open and honest about that, but it is still another map. It's another option, and I think losing things is always bad. Losing options is always bad. So
The map. It was small and fun.
As we saw with Demogorgon, he might come back to the game at some point once
Yes.
licensing changes, but we don't know, so we can't theorize on
Mm,
that.
but he had 9.5 years in Dead by Daylight.
Every week, we like to recommend a creator from the community that we've enjoyed, that we love to watch or love to see their work. And this week, Lemon, picking two creators.
Oh, two?
Yeah, I feel like someone needs a kind of special mention. And then another creator which I really, really enjoy. So the special mention this week is someone called Booyah on Twitch. Booyah. I won't spell it out. It has a lot of O's and A's, but it will be in the show notes. You can click the link below or search them up. The reason they get a kind of special mention is I don't think they're a Dead by Daylight creator anymore.
I have
Um,
seen them a few times on Dead by Daylight recently, but it's very, very rare.
I've not seen them. I've seen them on Arc Raiders for like 2 or 3 months, and I had a look
Oh.
today to see if I could see any VODs, and there was no VODs from DVD.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know if they've given up on the game. The reason I'm mentioning them is they were a cosplayer of Michael Myers, and they used to put on the mask and the overalls, and they would play the game consistently for like hours and hours and hours, 6 to 8 hour streams as Michael Myers. In the old version of Michael, and I think maybe that's why they no longer play it, because I think they used to enjoy that whole thing of stopping staring, playing it really slow, um, and really kind of embodying Michael Myers. So yeah, I don't know if they'll ever come back to Dead by Daylight, but I felt like they needed a special mention because they did put in the work of the whole I am being Michael Myers in the game, playing Michael Myers.
Also,
Maybe.
when he played Michael, there was almost no talking, and you could hear the breathing,
Mm. Yeah,
and
well, no,
that just made it extra creepy.
it was so good to watch. I couldn't watch it for a
Mhm.
long time because it was so creepy, but the bits that I did
Yeah.
watch, I really enjoyed. I'm wondering because Michael is being removed from the game, I guess, because there's a new Halloween game being released. I'm wondering whether they make the shift to that game and continue. We'll see when the game is released. However, our content creator recommendation this week is Normal Steve. Normal Steve. Now, Normal Steve does have a link with Michael Myers as well. Steve used to play Rage Quit Myers again in the old version of Michael Myers. Can't really do it these days because of how, but he would tear up right to the edge of tier two and play the game badly. He would purposefully get flashlights in the face, purposefully get palleted, and when he got his mark right up to tier two, and he got the right time of being flashlighted or palleted, he would stop. He would take his hands off the controls. He would let them finish all of the generators, and he would hope that they would crawl out of the woodwork like the little rats they are and murder them all. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was some of the best Dead by Daylight content, and they've removed that from him. However, Steve is still consistently brilliant. He is still trying to find a rage quit killer to capture what Michael once gave him. Um, I don't think he's quite found it yet, but he continues to try, and I love to watch Steve. He's such a lovely stream. He's such a lovely person.
He is.
Um, and yeah,
But
he's
the
cracked
normal
that.
part of his name is not supposed to be taken too serious. He's not that normal.
Oh, he's a fairly down to earth, normal lad.
Yeah,
He's
but he's
yeah, yeah.
cool. He's
He's
cool.
cool. He's cool.
And I do love his Michael, emote on Twitch, where it's
Oh,
just
yes.
Michael's, like, lower legs.
The grippers. Yeah. So yeah, go check out Normal Steve. He is cracked at the game. He's a great survivor.
Yes.
He's a great Huntress player. He's pretty consistent and yeah, just funny and lovely and a wonderful community. So yeah, go check
Yeah.
out Normal Steve.
And he's just yeah. I really enjoy watching his streams. He's lemon approved.
Who are we talking about next week, Lemon?
Well, I already kind of said it. We are talking about the Laurie, but also her relationship with Michael. So we will
Interesting.
talk still a bit about Michael, but it will be more focused on Laurie and their relationship. So everybody has a chance to get caught up on the movies if they want, because next week I will give spoilers.
Oh. A quick reminder that we have a website, beyondcampfire.com, that has all of our major links. We'd love, love, love any comments on any platforms. If your platform
Mm.
has comments, please leave comments. We are trying to kind of look at all of the platforms for people's comments and things so we can pull those in. If there are comments being posted on other places, we tend to keep an eye on the Spotify quite closely, but there will be comments on other places, including YouTube and things. So
And you can send messages, personal messages on X and Blue Sky if there is any comments to the show.
yep, absolutely. Do you have any questions that you would like people to answer this week?
I I do. I'm curious to who people find is the hottest killer in the game
The hottest killer in the game.
because I feel like there is a lot of female players that tend to find Michael a bit hot.
There's a lot of male players that find Michael a bit hot.
Yeah, and that is fine. But who is the hottest killer in the game? Because I know we know somebody who think is Nemesis. Like we all have different tastes. I'm just curious.
Do you have a hottest killer in the game?
I really want to say Oni, but it is not true.
Victor.
Oh, you no. He scares me so bad. He can make me scream through a whole game.
So Victor then.
Who's yours?
The artist.
I kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The artist is yeah, consistently hot.
I think mine would be Wesker.
My question is kind of similar, weirdly, in a
Oh,
different kind of way. My question is based off of what we said about Booyah, and that is, which killer would you love if money was no object, and you could play whatever gender or whatever look you wanted? Which killer would you love to role play as if you could dress up as them and role play as that killer? Do
would
you
you
have a
pick?
particular I don't know. I thought of the question as I was writing about Booyah earlier, and I didn't really come up with an answer. Um, Probably, well, either the clown. I think I would make a kick-ass clown. I have considered role playing as the clown on stream. It is something I am still thinking about doing.
You would make an amazing clown.
Yeah. Or if I could pull it off somehow, the unknown.
Oh.
You
Oh,
know,
please
with
don't.
the whole
Please
backwards
don't.
yeah,
No.
I just think that'd be a really cool
Ew.
costume and interesting kind of movement and stuff as well. How about
Yeah.
you?
I'm going to be busy that day, so I'm so sorry I can't watch you being the unknown because ew.
How about you? Any
I think I would be Naughty Bear. because I think a Naughty Bear suit would be nice and warm.
To be quite
And
sweaty.
no, I think it would be just right. Or maybe it's just because I've been freezing for the last month and we still get promised snowstorms every day. So, Naughty Bear. Also, nobody can see it's me. Win-win.
Well, while Lemon clambers into her Naughty Bear costume to get away from those minus 17-degree temperatures, remember, play safe out there and don't get